Bullion here, and a very warm welcome to you all joining me for another precious metal ramble. Last weekend I did a video talking about the really high prices for gold right now make it very difficult to sell gold on the second-hand market. And indeed, I experienced that this week with these 3 gold coins that I tried to sell. And I had to offer them out at 96% of spot price to get them gone. Great deals for the buyers, but as the seller will probably attest, he could have and probably should have just gone straight to a dealer and got pretty much the same price. No worry, no fuss, no hassle. So I've done a bit of a price comparison on what dealers are actually buying gold for right now. It'd be great to see what you guys think down in the comments. I have chosen 5 big mainstream UK bullion dealers. There are others out there in the market. I want to know what your favourite dealer is, who is paying the best in the markets. I've just chosen these 5 because I've used them in the past. And before somebody accuses me of bias, Atkinsons and Chards have both sponsored me at some point or another, but they're not sponsoring today's video. In fact, I have included Tavex from the video we did previously on a price comparison. People recommended to include them, so I have. And I'm glad I did because they are paying the best at the moment that I can find anyway for gold, which I think is really interesting. So with that said, let's have a look at the table and see what prices are being paid for what. A couple of other quick caveats before we go on. I did all of these price comparisons over about a 10-15 minute period on Wednesday morning. So today's morning at spot price of around £1,911. It didn't change that much as I was going through, so I think the data is pretty accurate. Silver at 22.73. What I've also done is for the other gold category here is I've kind of taken a bit of an average because other gold could constitute anything from non-capital gains tax exempt 1 ounce bullion down to quarter ounce and cool little old European gold coins. Generally speaking, there is a bit of a spread within there. There are some coins which are less favourable than others, and indeed, when you look at these coins, which I actually went and approached a couple of bullion dealers for prices on them on behalf of the seller, they were offering 95% spot for these. They are not popular coins. They are not easy to shift. So 95% for some of these gold coins is pretty much the lowest that I've seen. But as we can see, the other gold category does vary a little bit, and that's where I will say. So let's have a look and see who is winning the scoring. We have attributed first place, second place, third and fifth. So first, second, third, fourth and fifth place for each bullion dealer in each category and scored them 1 point for being first and 5 for being fifth, etc. And we can see that the total scores tied are Atkinsons and Tavex. But what's very interesting is if we split that between gold and silver, we can see that Tavex are by streets away the best for gold, scoring a clean sweep across the board, paying the most for gold in every category, from 1 ounce bullion in Britannia form to sovereigns and to just general other gold. That's really, really good to see and very nice to have that competition on the market. Chards actually interestingly paying just a smidge more than Atkinsons for some of their 1 ounce gold and sovereign offerings. That's always, I think, a really good barometer between these two companies. I know that they both look at each other's pricing and they're often having a little bit of a price war, but maybe they've just missed Tavex Bullion at the moment because they are nearly by a whole percentage point beating them across the board, which I think is really good. We can see the worst paying big company at the moment is Bullion by Post for gold, with a collective score on the gold front of 14 points out of comparison to 3 points on Tavex. This is not a disparaging video towards Bullion by Post. I include them because they are top of Google search rankings. If you type sell gold in, they will be there at the top. If you type buy gold, they will be there at the top. They have very good presence on the internet, and a lot of people find them first to get their prices. And indeed, from my perspective, ever since I started using, or I should say, ever since I started buying gold and silver, I have consistently used every single day Bullion by Post's website with their tracking little numbers here for gold price to see the prices. That's just been my little habit, but it shows that they are always the first that you can find and get a good indication of where things are. So for gold, not great at all. But interestingly enough, they pay quite a good price for kilo silver bars, which I was very intrigued to see. We can see that some other dealers at the moment, with Hat and Guard Metals being the complete lowest, paying 90% of spot for all silver, including kilo silver bars, which is not a good price at all. But Bullion by Post paying 100% of spot for silver Britannias, but a little bit over spot for kilo silver bars, which I think is very interesting. The winner for silver at the moment does seem to be Atkinson's, with a smidge over the Chard's buyback price of 104%, but with 104.22%, Atkinson's does win the day slightly on that. And Kilo Silver Bars as well, their premium has come up on that. I think I did a video maybe 2 months ago on the buyback prices, and at that time Atkinson's were offering a lot less of a premium on their kilo bars, so perhaps that's a nice bit of feedback that's been taken on board and the pay rate's gone up a little bit. So yes, we are seeing Atkinson's probably being the best of the bunch at the moment for selling silver, with Tavex being the best of the bunch for selling gold, and that's then borne out with the fact that they are both sitting there in tied first place at the moment. What I would say is that if we go across the board looking at some of the other gold category, there are some gold coins that Atkinson's offer that are lower than 1848. They're quite relatively scarce coins, so it depends on what kind of coin that you're looking to buy, or sell I should say, and generally it might be better perhaps to go to somewhere like Tavex for those bits of gold, or perhaps even Hatton Garden Metals. They were just playing a flat rate across the board for most of their, what I would constitute otherworld gold. Bullion by Post still being relatively close to the bottom. But the bottom of all for the sort of random gold collection is Chard's, and there is also some breakdown within this otherworld gold where they're paying 90% of spot price for some of the offerings. It depends on what you're selling. My understanding of this, having spoken to a number of different dealers out there in the markets, is that if a dealer is pricing something like this here, 90% of spot price for silver, it's because they don't want to buy it from you. They don't want to buy it because they can't resell it, they can't get a good margin on it, they can't actually do anything with it, they just have to scrap it and sell it off to a refinery. And there is another dealer that I haven't included in here that I have in the past, which is Baird & Co, and they are paying approximately 95% across the board for silver and 97% across the board for gold. But basically, I'm not saying this is fact, this is just my interpretation of what I would do in their position. If Hatton Garden Metals are buying silver at 90%, they're probably turfing it straight across the road to Baird & Co at 93, 94%, 95%, whatever they're buying at the moment, making a quick spread and just getting rid of it because they don't want it, they don't need it, they don't care about it. And to a certain extent, some can say that's the case with Chard's as well. If you sell a really unpopular piece of old world gold like these coins here, as I've been told by a number of different dealers, there's just no resellability for these kind of coins within their own businesses. So often it is just a case of taking them for as low as they kind of can offer, and if they have to buy it from a member of the public, so be it. And then they just turf it off to be refined down, and that's the nature of selling gold at the moment. So I think that's really interesting. I hope there's been some value for you guys there to see where the best place to sell is right now. There are plenty of different options out there. I have included over here a column for the silver forum. I haven't color coded it and given it a score because it varies so very much. And as I was demonstrating with the 3 coins I was trying to sell, sometimes even at 96% spot, it's difficult to sell over on the forum. But things do move there, and I do note a slight, well, certainly comparison with some of the big dealers here, and Tavex for gold anyway. I'd say realistically you're getting about the same prices over on the silver forum as you would be from Tavex. Now the difference is of course around just ease of sale and the risk involved with a sale. Generally I find that if there is an established buyer or seller that you're selling to, you're not going to get that level of risk on the silver forum that people observe and are put off by. Generally it's an incredibly safe place to sell. But there is definitely an argument right now that the market on the forum is, and quite frankly other markets like Facebook as well, is tight, and it is hard to get a great price. Gone are those days where you could just have a gold offering at 3 or 4% over spot. And that's simply because, as in the comparison video I did last week, the selling price of the dealers right now is 1%, 2% over spot price, even less sometimes for different bits of gold. So it's a very interesting market, and as I said, I would love to know your thoughts and opinions on it and your dealer of choice. Let me know down in the comment section below. Otherwise, that's it from me. We'll see you on the next video, and as always, please make sure that you like, share, comment and subscribe for more.